active source stored in a safe way. A. This by the way, it is basically a wooden box with a cover. So here is a hinge, you can open it, spring it to open. And then inside there is a lead inner container. And that is the reactive source. This is a sealed source, standard sealed source. A. The source emits alpha particle, beta particles, and gamma rays. A teacher handles the box. Explain how the teacher is completely protected from alpha and beta particles, but only partially protected from gamma rays. Well, the inner lead container will stop any alpha and beta particle from coming out. However, the gamma ray can penetrate through lead, so the teacher will be protected completely from alpha and beta particles. 咁個答案咧就要指出，首個重點咧就係話咧，呢度有個鉛做嘅內膽，呢個鉛做嘅內膽咧可以吸收晒 alpha 同 beta， 所以咧個先生咧就 alpha 同 beta 冇受影響。但係咧伽馬射線係穿過咧嗰個鉛，所以咧就唔係全部都好。咁伽馬射線穿落嚟咧，佢啦有角嘅咧，即係個夾俾佢咧唔能夠完全吸收。如果你真係要好完整嘅，你都可以話咧，for completeness you can mention that the lead only absorb part of the gamma radiation. Only part. B. Describe and explain how the teacher should remove the source safely from the box. Well, I believe the answer should be you use the forceps. You open the box and use the forceps to pick up the reactive source. Or maybe even wear gloves, 戴手套, So there's something like that. C. The source is brought near a radiation detector. Name a suitable detector. So what detector is suitable? The source contains alpha, beta, and gamma. So the only choice is GM2. GM2. The only choice is GM2. 因為咧係話明呢個 source 又有 alpha 又有 beta 又有 gamma 嘅，要探測晒呢三隻咧就用 GM2 咯。2. Describe how you would use the detector to show that the source emits particles and phantom. So just record the gamma ray repeatedly and observe that the gamma ray fluctuates, or the gamma ray is not constant for repeated measurement. The gamma ray is not constant for repeated measurement. Now, because this is 2 marks, maybe you can elaborate a bit more. You mentioned that I measured the gamma ray a few times, and the gamma ray is different. So the radiation is random. 因為咧兩分啊，所以兩分咧你應該要寫到兩個按嘅。咁譬如個寫法就係話咧，我重複咁樣測量幾次，度幾次數據 measure 個 gamma ray 幾次。咁咧嗰個 gamma ray 咧唔同嘅得出嚟嘅 gamma ray 係唔同，所以咧印證得到咧嗰個 radiation 係 random。Question 9. The nuclei potassium 42 undergoes radioactive decay to become calcium 42. Now the chemical formula is given to you. Now a radioactive sample contains 8 atoms of potassium 42 and no atoms of calcium 42 at time t equals 0. Figure A shows the variation in time t of the number n of the atoms of potassium 42. So this one is the decay curve. Okay. Now you can see that it is labeled in terms of N0, 1.0 N0, and then 0.8 N0, 0.6, 0.4, 0.2. So it is stable in terms of error. And the x-axis is always the time, and the unit is hours. Pay attention to the units whenever you read the bar. Now, the first question asks you to identify what particles is being emitted. So, how do you know? Actually, it is quite easy because potassium 42 turns to calcium 42, both are 42. It must be beta。呢條係好易嘅啫，因為咧 potassium 42變到 calcium 42，鉀42變到鈣42，咁大家都係42嘅，即是話咧佢冇少到。如果係 alpha 講會減咗4㗎嘛，嗰個數字會減咗4㗎嘛，咁咧 beta 咧個數字就唔變嘅，咁所以一睇佢大家都42已經知道 beta 啦。咁當然啦，你可以從咧嗰個即係呢度。嗰個 K 係19，跟住 calcium 咧係20，咁19變20嗰度咧判斷到佢 beta 啦。但係即係你應該熟㗎啦，一睇到見到佢42就唔使諗，知道佢係 beta 啦。So there's question like that, and it is already 1 mark. Easy to get, easy to know. Now B. Use figure A to estimate the half-life of potassium 42. Now how to do it? Use this. Well, I need to enlarge it for better view. I'll try my best. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, at the beginning, it is 1.0 nano. So the half-life is 0.5. 0.5 is here, this time. This time. And then you can see that it intersects the curve here. So we draw downward. They come to this position. Now you need to determine what is the number. Well, you are quite weak in this. Now, here is 10, here is 15. So, this one here will be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, 2 small squares represent 1. You need to figure it out. Actually, you have to do a little bit more so that you are familiar with it. Become second nature. Now, this is 12. Double check it, not just start from here. You have to count it until you reach the next level. Cannot, not this one. Is P or THS? P. 嗱，你睇呢啲嘅時候咧，你唔好有啲數落去就算啦。數完之後咧，你計條數去搞翻呢度。如果你埋到尾啱嘅話，即使你啱。你哋好多時咧就數完之後咧，咁冇留意到自己數錯咗公底啊，所以咧數埋佢，即係個10、11、12、13、14、15，啱對喎，即係呢個12冇錯啦。咁樣就穩陣好多。OK。So the half-life is 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Sorry. I slow zoom this one. Okay, next question. calcium 42 is stable. Using the axis of figure, sketching graph to show the variation with time t, the number of calcium 42 atoms in the sample. How to do that? How to do that? Here, at the beginning, calcium is 0 here. At 12 minutes, calcium become just half here. Now, at 5 minutes, how much calcium is? Now, that will be the amount of calcium at 5 minutes. So we just measure it 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, and then this one. So for this one, you can continue to mark several more bonds, and then finally it should reach that position. This one. Okay, so you can sketch the graph like that. Actually, this one is just a mirror image of the original indicator, because the amount of radionuclide indicated will become calcium. Potassium will become calcium. One potassium changes to one calcium. So the amount indicated is just the same as the amount of calcium. 因為咧一粒 calcium 一粒 potassium 會見到一粒 calcium 嘅。咁呢度咧就係喺5個鐘頭嘅時候咧 decay 咗咁多粒。咁所以咧 calcium 嘅數目亦都係咁多，所以呢個就係呢一個。呢度一半嘅話，大家好喺呢條雙魚嘅兩字，個啱啦，叫啱，一半或者一半全部咁。所以條線咧就係呢度咁樣上。咁其實咧條線嘅形狀咧就係呢條線嘅倒影。將呢條線反轉佢畫，咁就得㗎。咁你見我咧，即係喺呢度 measure 落去，喺呢度 measure 落去，一路 measure 落去，咁就係呢個。咁樣就得㗎啦。OK。啱啱係一個倒影㗎。Okay, next. D. By reference to figure A or otherwise, determine the age of the radioactive sample when the ratio is equal to 4.0. Okay, how do we 4.0? Now, when it is 4.0, it is actually around here. Around here. When calcium becomes 0.2, that means potassium becomes 0.2, that means calcium becomes 0.8. So the ratio is 4:1。當有80%嘅 potassium decay 咗之後咧，就剩翻2%嘅 potassium。咁即是話咧 ，calcium 同 potassium 嘅比例咧就係8:2，即係80比2，即係4:1。咁所以就呢個 moment 啦。咁就大約係29個鐘。29 hours。See that? It said that the number of calcium to number of potassium is equal to 4.0, and when it's decay 80%. 80% of the potassium has been decayed. That means only 20% is left behind. So potassium 20% and calcium 80% will have the ratio of 4:1. Got it? So that is the time. And this time is 29 hours. So we just figure out when the potassium gone to 20%. And at that moment, the ratio will be 80% to 20%, that means 4:1. Okay. Next question, number 10. The radiation from a radioactive source is detected using the apparatus illustrated A. Here is an aluminium sheet detector, and the distance is 6 centimeters. So what do you think? Is there any particular reason for this? That's 6 centimeters. Anything related? Yes. 6 cm is too far away for alpha particles. So it definitely eliminates any influence if there is alpha particles. So any no alpha particle will be able to reach the detector. Yeah. So the distance is 6 cm. Now, different thickness of aluminium are placed between the source and the detector. The time rate is obtained for each thickness. And figure B shows the variation with thickness X of aluminium of the carbon. So it looks like that. So for aluminium of 0.5 millimeter, there's a lot of absorption. And then up to 1 millimeter and 2 millimeter or 3 millimeters, the absorption decay. The absorption is quite obvious. But beyond that, we see that the curve becomes quite fat. So any increase in thickness will not have any significant effect. So the curve can be analyzed in 2 parts. Okay. A. Suggests why it is not possible to detect the presence of emission of alpha particle from the source.
This is too far in the radius of
Yes. So the diagram explains it good. You just mentioned it. What about B? B. State the evidence provided on B for the emission from the source of beta particle and gamma radiation. Now, because when the thickness of aluminium is just 0 to 2 millimeter, we see a significant reducing gamma rate. This is because of aluminium can absorb beta radiation effectively. So reduced gamma rate has found out that there exists of beta radiation. But on the last part of the curve, we see that when the thickness of aluminium is more than 3 millimeter, even if we increase the thickness, the gamma rate does not reduce too much. However, the gamma rate is still high. It is more than 1,000 gamma. That means this is definitely not caused by background radiation. So that's straight out. And the gamma ray side saying that we will have actually gamma radiation, which is cannot be effectively absorbed by aluminium.
So is this graph mixed up with beta and gamma?
So this source can have at least 2 gamma radiation emitted, both beta and gamma together. 呢個咧就非常容易解釋啦，因為咧當嗰個鋁板嘅厚度咧以幾 mm 即係0 mm 至2 mm 嘅時候咧，我哋見到咧嗰個gamma ray 咧有啲大幅度減少㗎。咁因為咧aluminium咧係能夠 而且個單位咧仍然維持喺1000以上嘅。嗱1000以上咧，可能係 background radiation，background radiation 冇咁多嘅。background radiation 咧，通常嚟講，單位係1秒鐘幾個卡，就2、3個卡咁上下啫，係嗰個 order 嚟嘅。咁所以咧，即係佢過千個咧，一定唔係 background 嘅。咁但係鋁板唔能夠話吸收佢喎，唯一嘅可能性係加密。所以咧，你個答案嘅可能咧就係more than 1000 times, so this is not background radiation, but aluminium sheets cannot effectively absorb it, so it must be gallium. Okay, question 11. To illustrate the effect of an electric field on the path of alpha, beta, gamma radiation when traveling in a vacuum, a book contains a diagram similar to the following figure. Okay, it is not something abnormal that there are two gamma rays, which is not the standard way of drawing this diagram, but it gives you some hints about answering one part of the questions. You see that alpha turns to one side and beta to the other side. Now, no curvature of gamma radiation takes place. Explain why. No curvature of gamma radiation takes place. Because gamma radiation cannot be affected by electric field. It is neutral. Gamma radiation is neutral. It cannot be affected. Now, the path of alpha and beta curve when the electric field. Now, this is 2 marks. Now, alpha and beta particles are charged particles, and electric force will be provided by the electric field, and then an electric force will accelerate the particle sideways, so it moves along a curve. Number 3, alpha and beta radiation curve in opposite directions because they carry opposite charges. Number 4, there is no need to consider the gravitational field within which the particles are traveling. Now, 2 marks. The reason why we ignore the gravitational field is that the mass of this particle is so small that the gravitational force is not significant or is negligible or too small. Actually, it is in the order of magnitude of 10 to the power 37 times weaker. 事實上咧，地心吸力對呢啲咁嘅粒子影響咧，係相差幾多倍咧？係10嘅37次方咁多倍弱過10嘅37次方咁多倍。即係你平時咧3個位有數字，4個位有數字啊嘛，咁你要去到第37個位，佢先至有嘢喺度。咁當然可以忽略㗎。Okay, for the path shown in A suggests 2 reasons why a pattern of tracks such as that shown in the figure is impossible to observe in practice. First of all, radiation is invisible. And that the second reason is that the particle, when given out, will travel along different directions. They are not traveling along the same directions, so it is difficult to form a definite path. And another reason is that the particle is traveling very fast. The speed of that is too fast for you to observe the travel. Number 2, why it is unlikely that from a given source of radiation, both alpha and beta particles have the same speed? Yes, because alpha particle is many times heavier than beta, so the speed of beta should be usually faster than alpha.